No problem. All right, guys. Okay, perfect. Well, I'm so glad to see you all here this morning. Who got to attend the inversion workshop this weekend? Janet, I know you did. Yes, yes. Sue, you didn't go to the inversion workshop? Oh my gosh. Well, anyways, so the inversion workshop was a lot of fun. Meg got to teach. This is the thing about inversions. We do occasionally teach how to get upside down here in class, and you'll usually see it in the form of a headstand and occasionally some handstand hops and things like that. But there are so many more things to learn about inversions. We have so many different opportunities in terms of skill work that you learn on the ground, all in preparation to get upside down. There are also lots of different exercises that get you upside down, but in a really controlled manner where you can feel very safe. And the thing is, we can't get to all of those things in a standard 60 or 75-minute class. So these workshops are opportunity for you to learn, no matter what level you're at, no matter how experienced you are, how to get upside down. So if you missed it this weekend, we're doing a second inversion workshop. It's actually happening on April 1st. Lisa Taylor will be leading it in this studio once again. You can also join virtually if you can't make it in person. But I highly suggest it if you have any intention at all of getting upside down at some point in your yoga practice, or maybe even if you don't have any intention of getting upside down. So let's do what we came here to do, child's pose. Knees out wide, fingertips all the way to the head of your mat. Now on your inhale, crawl your fingertips as far forwards as what they'll go. On your exhale, I want you to set your sits bones back to the edge of the mat so that you're creating this super long spine. Its flexibility and its durability throughout class is going to help you support yourself in every single one of our poses. So this is it. On your next inhale, reach those fingers out. Exhale and press your thumbs down. Full breath in. Exhale, press your pointer finger down. We're going to keep moving like this. Inhale, middle finger down. Building that Ujjayi breath. 2 more times. In, ring finger down. Last one, breathe in. Press your pinky finger down, and on your next inhale, rise up to downward facing dog. So we're creating these solid, flat hands on the mat. You can even take a peek at your fingers here. Press your pointer finger, the knuckle of it down. And now press your thumb down as well. I learned from one of my other instructors not too long ago, if you're feeling like there's a ton of pressure in your thumbs, you can actually just bring your thumbs closer to your pointer finger and it'll change where that pressure is. Take a moment to check it out. Just see what new possibility could be in this pose for you. One more time. We're going to take a breath in. Exhale. Walk your feet to the head of your mat. Halfway lift when you get here. Big breath in. Ragdoll. Press down through the 4 corners of your feet. Hug your inner ankles back and then your outer shins in. This will feel like a little change up in your hips. Just like that, we're going to actively press through our feet as we inhale and roll up to standing. Take extended, lifting the whole way to the ceiling. Exhale your hands down to heart center. Now, before each and every class, we open it with 3 ohms. And this is a secret. We used to work with a yoga organization that did a lot of work in Somalia. And this is the thing. Not all cultures are comfortable with ohming. So occasionally you might feel uncomfortable ohming in class. And the alternative here is to essentially just do one gigantic yawn. So here's how it works. We're going to do 3 ohms or 3 yawns on your breath in. Breathe in, reach up. Fold. Halfway lift, inhale. Chaturanga on your exhale. Slow breath out. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. 3 breaths here. Inhale. Let it go. Exhale. 2 more, just like that. Breathe in. Breathe out. Last one. Inhale. Exhale, and on empty, feet to hands. Halfway lift. Fold. Extended mountain. Breathe in all the way up. Fold. Halfway lift. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. 3 breaths here. Start by pressing your pointer fingers into the mat. And then send your sits bones up and back. Just like that. Once more. Inhale. Exhale, bend your knees. Feet to hands. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Extended mountain. Breathe in. Fold. Halfway lift. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Deep breaths when you get there. Take your feet a little bit wider on the mat. And then bring your hands further out to the side so that you can explore the foundation of the pose. One more time. Inhale. Breathe out. Exhale. Feet hands. Halfway lift. Fold. Extended mountain. Hug through your front ribs. Fold. Halfway lift. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. 3 breaths. Start to find the tapas. You're using your breath to build this heat in your body. Here it is. One more time. Inhale. Fire breath on that exhale. Feet to hands. Halfway lift. Fold. Chair pose. Breath in. Sit low. Fold. Halfway lift. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Right side. Warrior 1. Flow into the pose. Breath in. Exhale. Chaturanga. Flow right back out of the pose. Up dog. Down dog. Left side. Warrior 1. In and up. Out and back down. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Take a breath in and sigh it out. Now set your feet to the back of your mat. Breathe in and let it go. Once more. Inhale. Bend your knees. Exhale. Feet to hands. Halfway lift. Fold. Chair pose. Breath in. Drishti. Fold. Halfway lift. Chaturanga. Up dog. Drishti. Downward facing dog. Right side. Warrior 1. See 1 point on the ceiling. Chaturanga. Bring your hands to the mat. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Left side. Warrior 1. Eyes to one place. Hands to the mat. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. 3 breaths. So your drishti is where you're physically setting your gaze, but it's also where you're putting your attention and your intention in each pose. One more time. Breathe in and out. Feet to hands. Halfway lift. Drishti. Fold. Chair pose. Eyes to one point. Fold. Halfway lift. Drishti. Chaturanga. Eyes to the same spot. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Right side. Warrior 1. Eyes. Hands to the mat. Up dog. Down dog. Left side. Warrior 1. See what you see. Hands to the mat, chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. 3 breaths here, in and out. 2 more times, just like that. Let it go. Once more, inhale. Exhale, feet to hands. Last one, halfway lift. Fold. Chair pose, big breath in. Fold. Halfway lift. Chaturanga. Up dog. Down dog, right side, warrior 1. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Down dog, left side, warrior 1. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. All right, now that you've got this active drishti, bring your right leg into the air. Take the center of your heel straight up, almost like you're gonna press a hand into that heel. You're looking for a point-to-point stretch from your fingertips all the way back and up into your foot. Now bend the knee and open up your hip. See if you can't get that same stretch from your right pinky finger all the way through your knee before you stay or flip dog. 2 breaths here, and all you have to do is see this drishti spot. 1 more breath in. Stay, exhale, flip it back over. High plank, side plank. Drishti up towards the ceiling now. Now, this point is where you're gonna reach your finger to, and now reach your hips up to that spot as well. Take a full breath in, lift, chaturanga, exhale. Upward facing dog, through to downward facing dog. Let's go left leg up into the air. Now stretch this heel backwards towards the far side of the mat, not just straight up towards the ceiling. Get the stretch, fingers all the way to your heel. Make it so that your toes are facing the mat. Yes, 1 more breath. All right, now bend your top knee and open up your hip. Full side body stretch. Take a breath here, then flip dog. Now keep the breath moving in the pose. You've got your drishti point. See if you can breathe like you're pulling the air down into your lowest lungs. This is it. 1 more time. Stay here for the breath. Flip it back over. High plank and into side plank. Yes. Now, with all of that gaze, you're bringing lift to the pose. See if you can press your bottom thumb down into the mat hard enough that you can actually lift up 1 centimeter higher through your top hand. Chaturanga. Up dog on your inhale. Down dog, exhale. Right side crescent lunge. So one of the things that I love about my home practice, not just the one that I do in the studio, but when I'm practicing by myself, is this. The poses come down to 1 thing. You're in the pose already. Reach your fingers to the ceiling. It's gaze and breath. And that's it. That's all there is to do here. See if you can set your drishti to this 1 point and then breathe 3 times. Letting each inhale lift you a smidge higher. And each exhale, press down through your toes. 2 more breaths. Last one, stay for the inhale. Exhale, bring your hands to heart center, and we'll twist to the right. Now you can choose to keep your hands closed or open here, but it's gaze and breath. 3 more breaths. Let them start rolling deep in your body. They're inspiring the movement here. Last one. And on your next inhale, rise up, take crescent lunge, warrior 2. Now this pose is where you can really start feeling the practice work. Tap into the tapas. I want you to feel the heat of your body. Maybe you can feel it all the way into the pit of your belly. Sink low enough into this pose that you really start to get the feeling of heat, the feeling of tapas from your toes all the way to the crown of your head. Now take extended side angle, right hand down. This is the counter pose for that. This practice is about effort and ease. See if you can create ease for your body here. Take last breath in. Both hands down, chaturanga. Flow through up dog into downward facing dog. Take a breath in and sigh it out. Check out the feeling, the distinct feeling in the two sides of your body. One side has just done quite a bit of work, and the other one is yet to do it. So feel that little bit of discomfort here. That's okay. We're going to even it out in a second. Left side crescent lunge. Gaze and breath, eyes to the ceiling. Now, on this version of the pose, on your exhales, see if you can sit lower into the lunge. Your inhales are still going to give you that lift straight up towards the ceiling. See if you can counter these two things. Exhale, sitting low into your legs, and on your inhales, lifting super high up. This is it. Last breath in here. Hands to heart center, and we'll twist to the left this time. 3 breaths. Throughout these breaths, press back through your back heel, all the way to the back of your mat, like you're firing up the pose. Here it is. One more in. Stay for the out. Breathe in, rise up, crescent lunge. Warrior 2. All the way down low into that lunge. Check it out. Press down through your big toes into the mat. There's this action of rooting down through your feet, through the foundation of the pose, which is actually going to let you lift up, not only through your legs, but also through your torso up into your head. Last breath, extended side angle. Take this lunge deep. See if you can reach to the edge of the pose, even in a pose where you're looking for ease. There's something about going to the edge of this pose where it will be easy, where you discover, oh, the perfect balance of low in the lunge to make this pose just one smidge easier. Hands to the mat, chaturanga. Upward facing dog in, down dog out. Take a breath in. Let it go. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. Feet to hands. Halfway lift. Fold. Chair pose, breath in. Nice and low into that lunge. Now, one of the defaults that we see here in our practice is either creating this little ducktail and letting your belly sink low onto your legs, or alternatively, hugging your belly out and creating this C shape. See if you can find a straight line from your hips all the way up into your hands. You can almost feel like you're trying to flip your hands up towards the ceiling like that. Take this pose 1 inch lower. Last breath in here. Fold. Take your feet wide on the mat and let's pop your pointer fingers around your big toes. Let your head hang all the way down. Bring a quality of ease to your breath. On your exhales, check out if you've got any more breath to let go of so that you can fold just one smidge lower into this pose. Are you ready? We're going to go for chair pose round 2. So you created the strong spine last time. Create that. The line from your hips all the way to your hands. You can feel it for yourself. Now bring your hands to heart center and twist. You can still create length along your spine from your hips all the way up to your head. See if you can sit 2 inches lower. It's actually going to help make this happen. Just like that. Last breath here. And on our inhale, rise up, take chair pose with your breath in. Fold. Feet wide on the mat. Palms stuck underneath your toes and let your head hang down. This is the section where I often notice, I'm like, oh, my breath and I are no longer connected. It can get away from you, especially when you're doing lots of hard work. So see if you can work to lengthen your exhales. creating them so that they're just as long as your inhales. On your next breath in, rise up, take chair pose. Now you know what we're going for here, so get the foundation set up. Bring weight into your heels. Sit 1 inch lower than what you think you need. Bring your hands to heart center, twist to the left. Here it is. Sitting low into your hips, can you still lift up through your heart? Nice job, 2 more breaths here. Soften between your shoulders to twist it out. Last inhale. Stay for the exhale. Breathe in, rise up, chair pose. Fold. Feet wide on the mat this time. Palms stuck underneath your toes. Let your head drop down. We're going to unbind our hands from underneath of our feet. Walk your feet out 2 or 3 more inches to take on goddess squat. Feet turn to the outsides of your mat. Hands to heart center and sit low here. Now, the challenge of this pose, the default is to hunch your shoulders. It's naturally where your body's going to want to go here, but see if you can roll your shoulders back and down. Add a little bit more spice to your hips right now. That's okay. Take just 1 more breath here to feel it out. We're going to bring our hands straight down to the mat and take on LT's favorite, which is a wide-legged crow pose. So hands come straight down. Feet are staying stacked behind your wrists and lift your toes off the mat. It can be 1 toe or 2 toes. Here we go. Keep breathing for 5, 4. Steady drishti. 3, 2, 1. Step it back, chaturanga. Upward facing dog into downward facing dog. Take a breath in. Exhale and move feet to hands. Halfway lift. Fold. Inhale, rise to standing. Right arm under, right leg over. I like that I didn't even have to say the pose name. You guys know where you're going. Now sit 1 inch lower into this bottom leg. It's actually going to add balance to the pose. On your next inhale, switch sides. Left arm under, left leg over, eagle. Drishti stays steady here. Even when you wobble and even when you fall out, keep your gaze to the same point. On your next inhale, step out. Right side eagle, right arm under, right leg over. Now for this eagle, set your drishti 2, maybe 3 feet out in front of you. So it's going to be on the ground. Now from here, you're going to use your belly muscles to slowly migrate your elbows down to your knees. Again, drishti is staying consistent, even when you fall over. Keeping your arms bound, take airplane legs. So your elbows are still interlaced here. Press your elbows forward 2 more inches. You're going to get all of the length out of this pose that you possibly can. Stretch it from one side to the other. Unbind your arms. Take half moon. That's it. Left hand all the way down so that you can reach up through your right hand. Now, usually I keep my drishti on my mat here, but see if just for this last breath, you could reach it up to the ceiling. Try it on, lift all the way up, and feet down. All right, you check out your hips if you need to. On our next inhale, we're gonna rise to standing and try the side. So start with left eagle, left arm under, and left leg over. Drishti on the mat, just a few feet out in front of you, so that you can keep it steady throughout these poses. Elbows to knees when you're ready. Take your time through these. Move to the next version of the pose if you know what that is when you're ready for it. Airplane legs. Now stretch the pose out long, taking up as much of your mat as possible. half moon. Unbind your arms, right hand down and left hand up to the ceiling. This is the one time I'm going to ask you to change your drishti here. See if you can look over your top fingertips just for a breath, lifting everything up high and then feet down. Simple as that. You can shake your hips out. On your inhale, we'll roll all the way up to standing. Right side dancer. Right hand back, soft part of your elbow facing out to grab your inner ankle. Use your breath to move the pose. Your inhales are this opportunity to press back through your raised shin. On your exhales, let your big toe melt down into the mat, creating this equal and opposite action. Shin back, toe down. Just like that, last breath. And we'll switch. Switch sides, left hand wraps back. Grab your inner ankle, soft part of your elbow, faces out. Dancer round 2. Work up and into the edge of the pose. Don't wait for the edge to come for you and 2 breaths or 3 breaths. Go right up to the edge right now so that you can see, is that truly as much as you have to give? Is that the maximum for this pose? Can I hold it 1 breath longer? And feet down. We're going to take right side tree pose. So hands to heart center or fingertips up to the ceiling. Foot can come to your ankle, your shin, or your thigh. You essentially get to choose foot anywhere but your knee. Create a little bit of space in this pose for yourself. Ground down through your heels so that you can rise up, creating new length and new opportunity in your body. Breath in. Step out, exhale. Left side tree pose. Drishti active. You're using your gaze not only as your focal point to keep your balance, but also as your focal point for the whole pose. It's like your center line. It's the thing that you're hugging into, where you're putting your attention and your effort. Last breath, and feet down. All right, this is my favorite part of the class. Come to the head of your mat because you essentially get to start over. Take extended mountain. From here, we're going to take our right foot and cross it in front of our left. We're going to be bending with our front leg, so our right leg, and your back leg is going to stay straight as you fold down at your hips. You can bring your fingertips either to blocks or the whole way down onto the mat. Both are appropriate. We're looking for a long stretch here. From your left foot, the ankle of that foot, all the way up the outside of your hip and in to the small of your back. Breathe. Especially for a pose that gets a lot of feedback and sensation from your body. These are the moments to definitely turn on and use your breath. Let's stay for one more. And on your next inhale, we're going to rise up to standing and then we'll swap sides. So come to extended mountain, lifting all the way up. Cross the left foot in front this time. Right leg stays straight as the left one bends, fold forwards. So if there's one thing that I could choose out of my yoga practice, like one result that I would do yoga for any the day of the week, it's actually drishti. It's this ability to keep your focus and keep your concentration even when things are challenging, even when a pose is giving you a lot of feedback and a lot of sensation in your body. Try it out. Can you keep your drishti active? Can you bring your drishti back to this one choice, this one point you've chosen to look at every time your mind wanders? And then that's it. On your next inhale, we'll rise up to standing. Facing the long right side of your mat, bring your feet out wide for side facing, wide-legged forward fold. Yep, that's it. Interlace your fingers behind your back, and we're going to fold all the way over. drishti. Keep it active here. Bring a bit of softness to your knees. Now, drishti not only stands for where you put your physical attention, your physical gaze, but also your intention. Choose an intention for this pose. You can choose it as an I am statement or something else that fits here, but you're just going to slowly let that sink into the pose. How can you be creative, strong? How can you show leadership right here in this pose, in this breath? 2 more times. Last opportunity to get all that you want out of this pose. On your inhale, we'll rise up to standing. Both face the front of the mat, and we'll chaturanga. Hands straight down, all the way onto the mat. Move through upward facing dog on your inhale, into downward facing dog on the exhale. Take a breath in, and let it go. From here, we're going to roll into our high plank. Now, for my friends in the studio that don't have a block, just lift your hands. I know that these are Lisa's favorites. And since this is typically her class, I feel like we can't do class without them. So here we go. You know, if you're bringing your block, we're going to take a plank pose. So this block, sit it right in between your shins. Now you can choose to do this pose, knees on the ground. The main thing that happens is this hugging in. It's actually going to let you use your center line much more effectively. Now, if you don't want to stay with your knees on the ground, I'm going to ask that you take the tops of your feet down onto the mat, and we'll hug into the block as we lift into our plank pose. Just like that. Use your steady breath here. We're going to go for 5 breaths. 4 breaths. 3 breaths. 2 breaths. This is the last one. You can do it. Stay for the inhale. Exhale and put your knees down. All right, yogis. Take a quick break here. You can actually remove your blocks this time. All right, we're going to roll the whole way out into our high plank. Now, the variations here. You're either going to tuck your toes under and lift your knees up just a smidge. We're going to go for toe taps. So you can do it like this, moving one leg out and then the other. Or take on your plank pose. We'll go for a tap out to the side and a tap out to the other side. You get to choose however you want to do this. We're going to go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, guys, knees down. Can I say, it's been a while since I've taught this class. You guys are so much stronger. I feel like I'm really not challenging you enough. And I'm not kidding. I mean, you guys are like really handling this well. Okay. All right. We got one more, and then we're done. Okay. So here it is. We're going to do the knees just off the ground for this one. And then we're going to take the taps like this, looking to tap as lightly as possible, keeping your hips as level as possible, even as you're going back and forth. Here we go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Slow it down to half speed. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, bodies lay down on the mat. We're going to locust pose. So all the way down here. I really am shocked. You guys are awesome at that. I feel like my 6 AMs are now not getting enough challenge. All right, let's bring your block and we're going to put it right between your shins. So it's actually the same concept. We're just applying here in locust pose. Hands out long. You're going to lift up and squeeze into that block. See if you can use your belly muscles for this. Now, I have to admit, the tendency here is to use your glutes to hug into that block. See if you can relax them a smidge so that you can use your belly muscles. This is it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, all the way down. All right, remove the dreaded block. You can knock your knees back and forth. Don't put the block too far away. It's coming back between your hands this time for super yogi. So palms are going to hug into the block. If you've got a cork block, I'm sorry. Press down, lift up, super yogi. Here we go. We're going to count for 5, 4, 3, hug 2, and 1, back down. All right, now we can really be done. TikTok those knees side to side. Let's take Cobra. So take your little tent hands here. That means fingertips on the floor, but your palms lifting up, and stick them as close to underneath of your shoulders as what you can get. On your inhale, you're going to peel your head and chest up off the floor. Look over your right shoulder. On your exhale, bring your head and chest back down. Inhale, lift up, left shoulder. We're just going to go back and forth 2 more rounds. Inhale right, exhale down. Inhale left, exhale down. One more time, up and to the right, down. Last breath in, look as far as you can go. All right, back down. Bring your hands out to a T. We're going to use that same tent hand. So let's use the right one for this first. Underneath your right shoulder to help you roll over onto this right side. You can bring your ear down to the mat. If you're feeling like you could have a little bit more stretch here, you can use your top foot and stack that behind you. The other added little bit of stretch here is bringing your hand a bit higher on the mat, and I mean the stretching arm, and then really reaching out through those fingertips. Take 2 more breaths here. On your exhale, look for a little bit of that sukha, the ease that you can bring to this pose. All right, and from here, rock back to center, and then we'll do it on the opposite side. So right hand out, left hand does the lifting as you twist open. Set your drishti. You're going to keep it active even here in this pose. Again, your gaze is what's going to help keep you present here on the mat. Last breath in and exhale. Come back down, hands by your low ribs, tops of the feet down, lift into upward facing dog. Now, the tendency is to lock your elbows out, give yourself a little bit of softness so that you can really lift up and back through your shoulders. All right, knees down. I love up dog because it's a sneaky pose. You don't think it's hard unless you hold it for more than 1 second. Let's take camel. I know, it's kind of the bomb. I love an up dog. All right, toes tucked underneath of yourself. Hips stay on top of your knees. You can choose to do the half camel, the full camel, whichever variation it is. Check that the front of your pelvis is still lifting towards your belly button, even here. Breathe. These big heart openers make your body want to hit the emergency escape button, and that's okay. But see if you can breathe. Use your drishti to help you stay. We're going to go 3 more breaths here. Whatever you need to do to make that happen. Gaze is active. Breath is steady. This is the last one. Stay for that exhale before you breathe in and roll all the way up. We're going to sit onto our ankles and roll onto our spine. This is the thing. I love the counter poses, but bridge is actually one of my favorite counter poses for this. So the laying down on your mat, we're going to pause here for just a moment before we move up into bridge, because this is the counter pose, like the reset in and of itself. All you're looking to do, get your hips, your low back, everything down onto the mat so that you've got this long, straight spine. Take a breath. Exhale, let it all settle down. And now we're ready for the back bends. Hug your heels in close to your bum. Shoulders tucked under, hips lift up. Let's go, bridge pose round 1. Nicely done. You can interlace your fingers under your back, anything where you're going to get that space across your chest. Deep breath in. Exhale and hips down. Knees can knock from right to left. However you'd like to create it. Let's go for bridge round 2. We're focusing on shoulders and upper back opening in all of these back bends. So see if you can feel it here. Press down for bridge, lift your hips up. So not only can you add that little extra bit of fingers pressing down towards your heels tucking in just a little bit closer can also help you create the lift. This is it. Last breath, hips down. All right, we're going to take a vote here. How many wheels do we want? You can put one finger in the air. You can put 4 fingers in the air. You can put a 0 up into the air. We're feeling no bridge or wheel. We're feeling no wheel today. That's fine by me. Kayla, I see it. Oh, you're like, no, we're fine. Okay. All right. 2. All right, guys. Here we go. You can choose bridge or wheel. Are we ready? Set. Press down, lift up, inhale. Let's go for bridge or wheel. 5, 4. I'm going to count quick. 3, 2, 1. Tuck your chin down. Now reset on the mat. Long, flat spine. Inhale. Exhale like that. One more time. In and out. On your next breath in, press down, lift up. Inhale, bridge or wheel. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Chin tucks all the way back down to Supta Baddha Konasana. Good stuff. One hand on your heart and one hand on your belly. Let your breath get steady. Notice where you can feel your breath in your body. Whether it's the heat underneath of your hands, demonstrating all that tapas that you've built with your breath, the rise and fall of your belly, or even the feeling of your breath coming and going from your nose. Take happy baby. Hands by the outer edges of your feet. We're going to add a little rock right to left. Pull your sacrum, so the lowest part of your back, down towards the mat, and then rock. You actually get a nice little kidney massage here. That's what you're like, why does this feel oddly good? Like in your low back? It's your kidneys. Fun fact. On your next inhale, we're going to bring both of our heels straight up towards the ceiling. Now, we've done a lot already in terms of abs, so this is going to be quick. Are you ready? Hands are going to go handstand hands down by your side. On your exhales, use your belly to curl up, head and shoulders. Exhale, come down a little bit. Exhale up, inhale down. That's it. We're going to go back and forth. Let's count for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, fingertips behind your ears, shins parallel to the mat. We're going to move straight into yogi bicycles. On your exhale, right elbow, right knee. Exhale, switch. Exhale, switch. Exhale, switch. Keep going back and forth for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Feet flex. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, knees into your chest. We're going to rock head to toe. Yep, all the way forwards and all the way back. At least 3 times. You might be able to cop a 4th time. On that last one, we're going to rise up for boat pose. Feet out wide, hands out wide. Here we go. Boat. If you'd like a low boat variation, you can take it on, but we're just going to count here. This is it. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Shoulders back. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rock. All the way backwards, all the way forwards. Right side, half pigeon when you're ready. Bring your blocks with you. Bring your props with you. Set it up for right side. Close your eyes, but keep your drishti active. What do I mean by that? We usually mean a physical gaze. But in this sense, with your eyes closed, we're going to be focusing on our attention or intention. Set your attention on your breath. You can choose the most vibrant piece of your breath. However you can feel it in your body, most obviously, choose that spot and then set your attention there. You can listen to the sound of your breath. You can feel your breath moving in your rib cage or feeling it in the cold sense of your inhales and your warm exhales. When your minds start to wander, bring it back to your breath. The longer you remain in this pose, you might notice that you need some modifications to help you get a little bit deeper into it, help support yourself in a new manner. Take those changes on as they arrive. Let the pose flow. Let it evolve. Stay steady with your breath. Take a deep inhale, like fill it up all the way, and then exhale. Full breath in, complete breath out. Come back through to downward facing dog. You can take a second here in down dog to stretch this hip out. Notice the new space that you've created in this side of your body. Just take a second to observe how your hips are different here. And it can be uncomfortable. You can notice like one side is more open or one side is looking for something new. Now we'll even it out. Left side half pigeon. Bring your attention right back to your breath. It's the home base for your whole practice. I swear, pretty much any yoga question can be answered with breath. We do a program that's called 40 Days to Personal Revolution. And there's a book that goes along with it that was written by the creator of this specific yoga sequence that we practice. It's called The Journey into Power. But there's one law that has always sat most prominently in my mind out of the 12 laws of transformation found within the book. And it's this, Law 8. Remove the rocks. he starts with a quote. "The block of granite, which was an obstacle in the path of the weak, becomes a stepping stone in the path of the strong." Thomas Carlyle. Transformation means removing the rocks from our garden, the boulders that block our naturalness. The practices in this book and the practices that we do here in the yoga studio are not so much a learning process as they are an unlearning process. We unlearn our pride, our anger, our fear, our conditioning, and our resistance. In turn, we come back to our natural way of being. When we were kids, we were free and innocent. As time passed, we accumulated the rocks of resistance, piling them up until they become mountains in our minds. Transformation comes not by adding things on, but by removing what didn't belong in the first place. We change by peeling away all the toxic layers, emotional debris, and beliefs that we've added on over the years. We forget that there is something already perfect within us. Through years of habit and hypnosis, we took a wrong turn, and now we automatically look outside ourselves for something that will fix us. Take a breath in, release and let it go. Once more, inhale and exhale. When you're ready, press your fingers into the mat and come through to downward facing dog. We're going to take that breath or two to move this leg around, move this hip around, check out the new space that you've created in your body, right? Because when you last the whole way through a half pigeon, you should get to take a moment to see the work that you've done. From here, come through to a seated position. We're going to move into half pigeon or double pigeon. It depends on your body how you prefer to do this pose. Option A is going to be to stack your shins like Lincoln logs. So think about them one on top of the other. And you generally want to have your ankles overhanging this pose. So they should be just a little bit beyond your knees. Now you can modify this pose with a block under one knee, a block under both knees, however that happens. We're looking pretty happy with half pigeon, or this version of double pigeon today. So let's just try this one out. Now, the way to add a little bit of intensity here is, first of all, to check that both your sits bones are on the ground. It's going to be, if your right leg is on top, that right hip that wants to come up. Now, the option here to add intensity is to fold forwards, but I'm going to give you this trick for it. Take your Barbie C-shaped hands, otherwise known as your assisting hands or your Lego hands, and stick them into the creases of your hips. You're going to press down and out through your fingers to give your hips a little bit more space as you fold forwards. There's a really crazy assist that we don't do anymore, where a yogi could actually stand on your hips. I know it seems impossible, but you can put some little feet in there and stand, and it feels not like your hips are about to pop out of your body, which seems impossible. It is interesting, though it is terrifying. Let's take one more breath here. Get all of that good fold. On your inhale, we'll sit up, and then we'll switch sides. So opposite leg underneath, opposite leg on top. Come back to your Barbie C-shaped hands. into your hip creases, and you want to feel like you're rolling this muscle out and down as you lean forwards. It might be just 1 centimeter that you lean, or you might have space for more. Check it out. The two sides of your hips are going to be different. Oh, here, switch your hands around the opposite direction. Yeah, so that you can use the press down here in your knuckles. Deep breaths. One more time. Take all that last little bit of fold you've got here. On your inhale, we'll rise up. We're going to take frog. So, frog with a wall, frog with your belly facing the mat. A seated straddle is also an appropriate different variation of this pose. You can choose to set it up however you would like. For my frogs facing the floor, you're more than welcome. I love to use a block underneath of my chest just to help take a little bit of that weight off of my hips sometimes. It's an awesome version. With my frogs facing the wall, press in through your heels just a little bit to add a smidge more tension into the pose. Check out that your feet are at 90 degrees or parallel with the ground below you. Breathe. The longer you stick in this pose, the more modifications that you'll see to get a little bit deeper. Take those on when they become available to you. Stick it out. This is the thing. When you do frog or you do your seated straddle, eventually you're going to go, I think I've only got one more breath in this. Like that's really potentially my maximum. See if you've got one more. Challenge yourself to stay. Frog pose is a pose that challenges you. You want to hold on to control in this pose, right? It's like an involuntary action. See if you can loosen your grip a little bit. Bring sukha to the pose, ease. Through your breath, through your drishti. In and of themselves, the practices, yoga, meditation, self-discovery and inquiry, these practices do nothing. The yoga does nothing. The meditation does nothing. The self-awareness exercises do nothing. Balancing your diet does nothing. Neither I nor any other teacher can give you a magic cure. Wait a second, you might be thinking. Then why should I do these things? Because they're a roadmap back to your center, back to your inner teacher, your conscience. The techniques are a way to the way, but they are not the end in and of themselves. They don't possess any power of their own. They're simply tools for excavation. We think that we have struggles and problems in life, but the only problem that we have is a disconnection from our center. When we come back to self, all the other things begin to take care of themselves and our lives begin to flow. One more breath in and out. All right, getting out of this is going to be important. So hands to the outer edge of your thighs, close your legs, and for those of you with your belly facing the mat, come forwards. All right, when you're ready, we can make our way back onto our mats. We're going to take seated single leg extension. So right leg out, left leg tucks. On your inhale, reach both of your fingertips up. Exhale, fold down towards your toes. Making a conscious effort to lead with your chest towards your foot. Take a breath in. Fold with your next breath out. On your inhale, press your knee down. Drop your hand back. So left knee, left hand. Lift up and out through the pose. So this is gate, if I'm not wrong. Take a deep breath in here. Reach through that right hand. Exhale and bring your hips back down. We're going to switch to the opposite side. So left leg out. Inhale, fingertips up. Exhale, fold, chest towards your toes. Take another breath in. Get all of the fold that you can. On your next breath, land the knee, land the hand, hips up, and go backwards. Take a deep breath in. Stretch as far as you can go, and then hips down. We're going to bring both legs out in front of us. Inhale, seated forward fold. Fold on the exhale. Actively pull your shoulders back and down. Sits bones pressing into the mat. Feet flexed here. Pull your pinky toes specifically back towards your face. On your next breath in, we'll sit up and take tabletop or reverse plank. Fingertips facing your heels. Press your heels down into the mat. Hips up and head drops back. Hug everything into center line here, almost like you've still got that block between your knees to lift 1 inch. All right, come all the way down. We're going to take fish. Now, my personal preference here in this pose is to use a half-size block. So if you'd like one of those, you can raise a hand and I'll bring one to you. But apart from that, your block sits right between your shoulder blades and your thoracic spine to take on fish pose. For those of you using a block here, bring your arms out to a T with your palms flipped up towards the ceiling. Breathe. Deep, full exhales here are going to help you get the most out of this pose. You can add a little extra spice by pointing your toes. It's the only pose in the whole practice where we tell you to point them. Take one last breath here. Clear all the air out. And then rock off onto your left side, supporting your head and your neck. And we'll get upside down one final time. So you get to choose. Waterfall, shoulder stand. If you're dying to be upside down in headstands or handstands, you're welcome to do so. But we're going to get our hips above our heart here. Shoulder stands can move to plow. Plow to deaf yogis. My headstands and handstands can bring their feet back down to the mat. Take a child's pose. And everyone, while you're here, slowly, one spine, one vertebrae at a time, roll back down onto the mat. We're going to go for supine twist. Hug your right knee up into your chest and let your left knee go long, your left leg go long. From here, you're rocking this right knee over to the left side of your body, and you can land it on a block if you'd like for supine twist. Welcome. There is, by the way, for all my yogis in the studio, a cold eye towel by the upper right-hand corner of your mat. You're welcome to use it at any time through the end of class. Hug your knee into your chest, and we'll switch sides. Left knee up and in. Right leg goes long. Supine twist the opposite direction. Look for softness. See where there's tension in your body and bring your attention there. Breathe. Hug your knees back to center. Take Supta Baddha Konasana, soles of your feet together, one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly. Take this time to connect with your breath. The feeling of it as it rises and falls. Your breath is the home base of this practice and the home base of your whole life, really. Take Shavasana. Let your legs and arms go out long with your eyes closed. Bring your body and your mind to stillness. Feel your breath as it rises and falls. Picture your thoughts like this. Picture a running river, trickling downstream. When any thoughts, feelings, or emotions bubble up, they flow right down the water. Let those thoughts come up and then let them flow. Let them go downstream. Now start to add rocks. Slowly those rocks pile up, one on top of the other, until you've created a dam. Suddenly, your thoughts, your feelings, they no longer get to be felt. They get stuck behind all of these rocks. The beliefs that you've put in your life. The I'm not good enough. The I'm not wanted here. The I'm broken. All of those rocks pile up, and suddenly you can't say what you need to say, and you can't feel what you need to feel. Feel that water back up in your body. Feel your shoulders laying heavy on the mat. Feel all those unsaid things build up in your elbows as they press down, in the backs of your hands, even in your hips as they rest on the floor. Feel the weight of the things that are left unsaid. Feel the weight of the things that you don't let yourself feel. All the emotions that you don't let yourself say and you don't let yourself express. Feel the consequence of that in your body. Now take a breath in. Exhale and remove the rocks. What if you said those things? What if you let yourself feel all of that? Can you feel the lightness? The ease with which your chest rises? The ease with which your body rests on the mat? The ease with which your breath flows? What happens when you remove the rocks? When you remove all these layers of toxic, added on beliefs that you've created over the years, what happens when you let those go? What is the consequence of not letting it go? Choose for yourself. Feel your breath move. And watch all of those thoughts and feelings roll down through your little river. You are a force to be reckoned with. And you can choose whether you use that force for yourself or against yourself. Bring your attention back to your breath and elongate it. Long, full inhales, complete, nourishing exhales. Start by bringing movement back into your thumbs. Work the movement through your pointer fingers, into your middle fingers, your pinky fingers, and then scrunch your toes. And your next inhale, hug your knees up into your chest. Rock onto your right side with your forehead on the mat or the floor. On your next breath in, rise up to a seated position. On your inhale, we're going to reach our fingertips up, letting your body go long. Exhale and drop your hands down to heart center. Take a second to notice this clearing that you've made for yourself, physically in your body, spiritually and emotionally. This space is for you. You get to keep it all day. We're going to ohm it into place with 3 ohms. Take your breath in. Breath in and out. Thumb knuckles up to forehead center. Together we bow our heads and we say, Namaste. Thanks, yogis. In case you've never consciously taken the time to meditate before, we did get to do a little meditation practice at the end of class. That's what that looked like. Can look like a million different things, but thank you so much for coming to class today. It was great to see you. And no problem.